Amit Shah introduced 3 bills in the Lok Sabha proposing the automatic removal of the Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, and other ministers who are arrested and detained in custody on account of serious criminal charges.
Both in Jharkhand as well as in Delhi, as an accused, you are just one little man pitted against the might of the state.
Since 2014, 193 cases have been, where the politicians are involved with ED. Okay, only 2 convictions have happened. So now the judiciary decides whether the corruption case is right or wrong.
On this bill one, I think to me it's very clearly in the tradition of countries like China, Russia, Turkey, Egypt, where anti-corruption laws are used to crack down on rivals. There's no doubt about that. And the BJP should worry about it because in these countries we've seen, which have no democracy, which have authoritarian leadership, once they're done with opposition, they crack down. They use these laws, authoritarians, to crack down on rivals within the party.
Because the constitutional amendment requires 2/3 majority, which will be about 366. And with BJP at 240 and NDA 293, I don't see bill getting passed. Constitutional amendment cannot be passed. Criminal law has nothing to do with morality. We need to define crimes in narrowest possible way.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to start with presumption of innocence because you have to understand that unlike civil law, where the parties at least technically are on the same footing, in criminal law it is the state which is prosecuting an individual.
There has been lots of, this is a good sign, now we may see some resolution. But Putin has no reason to kind of comply. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. Are you at all optimistic on this? Or you think this is just optics, everything will stay the same?
They want Ukraine to be part of NATO, and if not part of the NATO, they want that security guarantees should be such that they should reflect the NATO principles, meaning Article 5, which means if one is attacked, all are attacked. So they'll all jump in like a sack of bricks if Russia attacks.
For Putin's economy, no matter how bad it is, United States is not relevant. It is in the antithesis of it. They have put on sanctions on them. So Putin is not worried about that. And they have now started building, like a couple of years ago, started building pipelines, direct pipelines to China. And if they have China backing them,
they don't care.
They don't have to worry about United States.
Welcome to Chhota Hafta. Now, Chhota Hafta is but a small, chhota version of a complete weekly podcast, Newslaundry Hafta. The Newslaundry Hafta is where you get the week's news, what made the headlines, what didn't make the headlines, but the full version is available to subscribers only. And I don't mean YouTube subscribers, although YouTube subscribers are also very welcome, very, very grateful to you, but also to Newslaundry subscribers, the paying subscribers who pay to keep news free. So you can also become a paying subscriber by clicking the subscription link. Now, what do you get if you're a paying subscriber? You get access to all our paywall content, all interviews, podcasts, and importantly, you get access to a full unedited Hafta, where you not only get to hear the week's news, but you get to hear the Newslaundry editors' positions on matters. You get to see their biases, what are their prejudices. It's an exercise in transparency while also informing you, and we have a few quips and jokes and agreements and disagreements thrown in. So listen to the full Hafta, subscribe to Newslaundry, and pay to keep news free. Here we go.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of Hafta. We record this on the 22nd of August at 11 in the morning, even as the Supreme Court is just announcing a verdict. What it is about, you will learn in the headlines as Manisha brings them to you. But first, let me tease 2 interviews that we will be putting out this week, over this week. One is Srinivasan Jain in conversation with Abhishek Manu Singhvi, where they speak about a range of subjects, including
vote chori allegations,
election commission's conduct, etc. And the
it's up. It's already
it's already up. Yeah. And the second is in conversation with Atish Taseer, the exiled writer, former journalist, who tells us about his new book and living in exile. On the panel in the studio today, Shardool Katyayan. Welcome, Shardool.
Hello.
Seeing you after a while. Manisha Pande.
Hi.
Raman Kirpal.
Hi.
And joining us via Zoom online is our guest, Faizan Mustafa. Welcome, Faizan.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Would you agree that the government itself has made Parliament irrelevant in the last few years? Like, which bill has actually had any outcome other than what was already one could treat as a failure to comply by going to a parliamentary committee? In fact, in the second term of Prime Minister Modi, I believe not even 20% of the bills were sent to any committees.
Parliamentary debates, the duration of sessions, and the time Parliament spends on the legislative business, over the decades, it is alarmingly going low. And as a result, the quality of lawmaking is bad. I remember Chief Justice Ramanna saying that what do we do as a court if we don't get properly legislated laws? So in terms of language which the legislature is using in passing laws, because at times they are rushing with laws.
That in 30 days, it's very easy to put somebody in the jail for 30 days. You impose a kind of law where the judiciary is not going to give
PMLA,
you.
where you
Give
bail
you
is not an exception.
So the bail is, so you won't get the bail. So 30 days and then you just get them sacked. So I think the intent, there is no, creativity exists. If you are really involved in, giving something which has some kind of utility, there is no utility in this law. This law is the intent to tame the politicians who don't fall in favor.
Historic, introduction of a law to combat political corruption. But due to our, investigating agencies not acting, very fairly, or at least there is a perception that they are not acting very fairly.
Right.
Because the conviction rate is very, very small, just about 1% or so. People feel that the intention of this law is, to control opposition.
Once they're done with opposition, they crack down. They use these laws, authoritarians, to crack down on rivals within the party. So BJP netas should also worry, because this is not just about the opposition.
They're already worried, I can tell you that.
BJP netas, because, and this is, if corruption is an issue, which it is, it cannot be just a big song and dance about the big arrests we are doing. It has to be about systemic reforms, of which we hear nothing in this government. It is about, Hemant Soren, Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, TMC leaders. Look at the way ED has gone about acting in the last 4 years.
How do we define crimes? Criminal law, unfortunately, is idea of power, not justice. And word over it has been used like that. But look at this, that constitutional morality is being invoked as a justification. Criminal law makes a distinction between morality and law. Many things which may be immoral if you go by the social construct or religious construct of morality may not be crimes. One party is very, very powerful, which is a state, the prosecution. The other party, they may hire Ram Jethmalani or anybody, but still he is a little man pitted against the might of the state. And therefore, we have to look at that law. How will it operate? So whether it is X party or Y party, tomorrow the same law can be misused by Congress against non-Congress governments.
As happened in the UAPA.
Therefore, as a legal academic, I have a problem with this law.
Right. I would like to remind all our listeners and viewers that we have Hafta that has gone behind the paywall. And we have a story that will be on News Minute by the time you check this out. Do check it out. It is behind the paywall. It is the first time, you may recall, there was this huge story of a nun in Kerala who had accused a priest of rape, a very high-ranking priest. I don't know what the technical hierarchy is. What is it?
Archdiocese.
The Ludhiana or Jalandhar Church. Franco-Mulikal.
So, that judgment was held, let him off as innocent. But this matter had also actually reached the previous, St. Francis was the previous pope, right? Before this one, before the rockstar coach, Pope coach, bol raha hu.
What?
And he had also commented on it.
Okay.
So the first time she has spoken to anybody,
Yeah. The nun.
and our reporter Nidhi has done this very detailed story. So I would highly recommend you check out this report. It is an extremely important report.
Trump met with 7 European leaders at the White House on Monday following talks with Zelensky as EU leaders reiterated calls for an urgent end to the war in Ukraine.
And especially Zelensky has said he wants a return of all territory. Russia will not agree to that. It's become part of the Russian constitution. They had a referendum. It's part of the Russian Federation. All 4 provinces or oblasts, if you want to call them, of Zaporozhye, Lugansk, Donetsk, and Kherson. What they can agree on is that in the north, Sumy and Kharkiv, that they will not go any further. But if there's no agreement, Russia can go further and take another 4 oblasts.
Why is Trump doing this? One of the reasons is, although it's a bit of a tangent, the economics of it. The de-dollarization he's talking about, like now BRICS countries, the original BRICS, us, now have like, I think more than 50%, nearly 50%, 56% of the world economic activity, GDP, and now the consumption and services. And of course, China in BRICS is the hub of manufacturing. And if you see the rate, the dollar transactions have gone down in the world, they are now nearly 50%.
As far as this whole, national rumors on ORF and that trolling, etc., I don't know what's real and unreal, but clearly there is an attempt to suppress too much independence of ORF. ORF had taken a leap into foreign policy and they sought to direct foreign policy in a particular direction. So some trollers in chief obviously,
with the blessings of the party, because some of them are followed
trying to
by
pull it down a peg or two and say that we are in command, or maybe some competing
interest.
think tank needs to be upped a bit.
CRF.
So there's a balance between think tanks.
Right. CRF
That's
is
what
Chintan Research
seems to be that.
Foundation.
And you can see that the third important think tank, the Center for
Chintan Research
TPR,
Foundation by
whatever it
Adani.
was,
Adani's
that
think
was
tank.
really pulled down.
For European leaders, the turmoil within their countries today is Israel-Palestine. I mean, the belligerence with which Netanyahu has gone about, it gives Russia also leeway that, dude, look at what you've done there. Why should we be listening to you? And I think even the home mood now, at least if you see from the protests and conversations in European countries, it's very much about how is the West allowing Netanyahu to do what it's doing.
In foreign policy, why is the Modi government was amazing. Jai Shankar had made India the partner of choice for so many countries. Everyone was giving Modi ji international awards, and generally we were the world's darlings. Clearly we are not. Is it a disaster?
Well, look, it's not a complete failure. The fact is that, this multipolarity which is arising, India has contributed to that. The fact is that, of course, America remains the biggest superpower, but comparatively...
बस मुफ्त में इतना ही मिलेगा. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to The Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the Newslaundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that Newslaundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to Newslaundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.